On behalf of Preservation Virginia's statewide supporters, I welcome you here this morning. I'm Ann Getty Cross, and it's my great honor to serve as president of Preservation Virginia and to host this morning's proceedings. I want to acknowledge and thank the participants, Janine Bell, the founding director of the Alegba Folklore Society, to my right, Germanique Ulmer, the vice president for public affairs, the National Trust for Historic Preservation, who with her colleagues is helping to raise awareness of Shockoe Bottom on a national level, Germany. Dr. Kim Allen, a founder of RVA Archaeology, and Vera Williams, representing the Solomon Northrop family, who bring deeply personal stories to this place. More information about all of our speakers is available in the press packet. Also with us today, Justin Williams and Clayton Adams from the Solomon Northrop Foundation. We're pleased that Wade Rawls from the National Civil War Museum and Andy Clark from the Historic Richmond Foundation are here, and Rob Neward, the director of the field office for the National Trust. And there are a number of our trustees is here as well. Just thank you all for coming out. In preparing for these remarks, I found inspiration in a Frederick Douglass quote from 1886 that I recently came upon. We are more likely to forget too soon than to remember too long. These words, I think, echo through the years as a challenge to us today. Shockoe Bottom is nationally significant. The history is an integral part of our nation's story. In 2019, Virginia will commemorate the arrival of the first slave ships that brought African men, women, and children unwillingly to this continent to sustain our agricultural economy. That economy found its base in Richmond's port, on its streets, in the holding pens, on the auction blocks, and through the businesses that flourished in Shockoe Bottom. Now, the evidence of that painful history is captured as a time capsule beneath the layers of asphalt. Like the sites of the 1607 Jamestown Fort and Wacomico, Powhatan's capital village, the archaeological resources here at Shockoe promise lessons for us today. We commend the mayor and the city council for the archaeological work done thus far. There is much more information beneath us. We need to go farther and expand the process to involve experts, scholars, preservationists, and historians in an open and transparent dialogue. By properly identifying and understanding the resources, we can appropriately plan how we share this history and how we create appropriate development that brings economic opportunities to existing and new businesses to grow the Richmond economy. Done well, Richmond and Virginia will be distinguished by embracing that history to build a vibrant future. Preservation Virginia, as Virginia's nonprofit statewide organization, has been leading preservation efforts for 125 years. Our work has evolved from saving single sites to promoting preservation tools that are essential for building the economic and cultural health of our communities. As companions to progress and through partnerships, local, statewide, and national, historic preservationists are helping to revitalize neighborhoods, downtowns, and rural districts while leveraging and preserving Virginia's distinctive and significant historic places. We thank the mayor and the city council for their work to explore opportunities that will enhance the economic vitality of the city. By naming Shockoe Bottom to the Virginia's 2014 Most Endangered Historic Site list and holding this event, our goal is to raise awareness that there are alternatives for achieving our mutual goals and that there are many organizations and individuals willing to lend their expertise and time to ensure the success of this effort. So, to begin our program this morning, I would like to invite Janine Bell from the Alegba Folklore Society to offer sanctification. Janine?
Good morning, everyone. Our ceremonies and our rituals keep us whole. Our ceremonies and our rituals help us to maintain order. in African societies and in many places where African people have populated throughout the diaspora, to recognize this wholeness, to pay homage to our ancestors, to honor our ancestors, we pour libation. I'm going to ask each of you also, because we recognize that our humility is a source of our power, to come all the way down to the ground if you can, or to certainly to bend your backs over a little bit so that we can be in oneness with the nature that governs us. In the Yoruba language, Omi tutu, cool water. Ona tutu, cool road. Ile tutu, cool earth. To call forward the spirits of our ancestors. Mojubobo iku, Mojubobo iku, Mojubobo iku. Call out their names. Mojubobo iku. Mojubobo iku. We pay homage to our ancestors, those who are fortunate to be buried in the soils of Africa, the cradle of civilization. We pay homage to those who were the mothers and the fathers, to those who were the architects, the scientists, the educators, the agriculturalists, the mathematicians, the community builders, the spiritual leaders, the warriors. To those who were the natural caretakers of the earth's most precious minerals. To those family groups and lines who lived interdependently, thereby creating and maintaining order. If you agree, we say Ashe. And we pay homage to those who withstood the daily life-changing sacrifices made under European colonization and the transatlantic trade of enslaved Africans. Ashe. We pay homage to those who were lost in the Middle Passage, to those who could not endure the months at sea, objectified as cargo in horrifically inhumane conditions that disallowed cleanliness, warmth, nourishment, or love. We honor the water that is your eternal home. Ashe. Ashe. We pay homage to those whose bones rest in the earth, in the Americas. We thank those who lived in the shackles of bondage and its legacy. Ashe. We thank the thousands of Africans among the first in America who came through Richmond's notorious markets, bringing both the knowledge and strength of the motherland and despair. Ashe. We thank those who were sold by Lumpkin, Omohundro, and Davenport, who still made life happen on nearby plantations. Ashe. Inside Richmond. Ashe. Or destinations down the river. Ashe. Who lived their lives so that we could have a different life. Ashe. We pay homage to Solomon Northup, who was among the many to pass through Richmond's revolving doors. Ashe. Who before dark arrived in Richmond in what he called the chief city of Virginia. Ashe. We remember our beloved ancestor who was mandated for an unfortunate night during his journey to New Orleans. Ashe. We remember all those who were subjected to Gooden's exam houses to determine their humanity, their human value inhumanely as if a horse. Ashe. We pay homage to those on whose unpaid backs the foundational success of the American economy was systematically built, whose descendants, despite our advances, remain largely inexclusive as second-class citizens. Ashe. We pay homage to the first Africans to make their ancestral transition in Richmond, who suffocate from neglect in what is being reclaimed as Richmond's African burial ground. Ashe. We honor in memory those who rose through Reconstruction. Ashe. The Black Codes. Ashe. Jim Crow, Ashe, massive resistance, Ashe, the civil rights movement, Ashe, the Black Power movement, Ashe, we are because you were. It is upon your broad shoulders that we stand, for you have trod the path to make our way clearer. We ask for your continued blessings, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. And we take a moment to remember our elders, our parents, our teachers, at whose feet we are blessed to sit to absorb your wisdom. We ask for your continued guidance and protection, Ashe, and for our children, for it is through you who we will live our future. We ask for your continued vision and vitality, Ashe. May these cool waters quench the souls of our ancestors, nourish the spirits of our children, and make clear the power of this moment. Ashe, be the will of God. As it was said, so it shall be. Ashe.
Thank you, Janine. Our next three speakers are here to speak directly to the importance of this site and the potential to achieve the goals of honoring this past. We are honored to have with us Germanique Ulmer from the National Trust for Historic Preservation, an organization that works on the national level to amplify the power of place. Preservation Virginia has been privileged to work with the National Trust on efforts including Fort Monroe, Belmead on the James, the Lower James River, and many more. Ms. Ulmer brings us a special announcement from the National Trust. Germany.
Thank you so much, Anne, for that kind of introduction. My name is Germanique Ulmer, and I'm the Vice President of Public Affairs for the National Trust for Historic Preservation. At the National Trust, we work to save America's historic places. It is an honor to be here today in Richmond with you all at Shockoe Bottom, a sacred place associated with the suffering and endurance of hundreds of thousands of Africans and people of African descent who were sold into slavery from this location less than 2 centuries ago. The book and Oscar-winning film 12 Years a Slave brought to life Solomon Northup's ordeal and ultimate triumph when he was kidnapped and transported through Shockoe Bottom and sold into slavery. Shockoe Bottom was the nation's second largest trading center during the peak years of the slave trade, when this neighborhood was filled with slave auction houses, slave pens, and offices of the slave trade. In 1841, Solomon Northup was held here at the notorious Goodwin Slave Jail before he was transported in chains into New Orleans. The same ugly fate was endured by generations of women, men, and children in this place. And the recent excavation in Shockoe Bottom of the site of Lumpkin Slave Jail, notorious as the Devil's Half Acre, is an indication that remarkable evidence of Richmond's slave trade survives under the asphalt here. The Lumpkin's Slave Jail excavation unearthed walls, foundations, paving stones, and many artifacts from that day, including glassware, buttons, eyeglasses, toothbrushes, and porcelain doll parts. There are many, many reminders here from the slave era, both below and above ground, that Americans need to understand in order to know the full story of our nation's history. As we all can see standing here today, much of Shockoe Bottom has been razed and paved over, nearly erased and forgotten by the American people. And now Shockoe Bottom is threatened by incompatible redevelopment plans. A few months ago, some local members of the National Trust for Historic Preservation, along with my preservation colleague, who is here today, Rob Niewig, alerted us of the alarming plan for the revitalized RVA project, which calls for the construction in Shockoe Bottom of a 7,000-seat minor league baseball stadium, a Hyatt hotel, a Kroger grocery store, as well as retail office space, all things that you all are probably very familiar with, parking garages and apartment buildings. And we understand that this plan also promises to privately raise $30 million for a slavery heritage museum here in Shockoe Bottom. And while we support the efforts of elected officials to create an economically viable downtown here in Richmond and to acknowledge Richmond's true history, we do not believe these 8 blocks